Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 9, edit listing page, and today we're going to be working on creating that page. So once again, the process repeats itself. So let's create a URL, views, and then the templates. There's a little bit more things going on here, so I'll explain as we go on. So you can copy this one and then just change things, I guess. So let's add the open urls.py and let's add the path to the edit listing. So let's do this. So for this one, we have to pass an ID so that we can edit the correct listing. So it was the same as the detail ID. In this case, we're editing the listing, so we need to know which listing we're editing. So let's just change these things here. We have passed the ID, as you can see. It's here. So that's the one. So again, you get the module error. Let's go to views and let's add this view now. Listing. Alright, so let's go to views here. And let me see here. So we have that. I don't know why that's important there. Yeah, we don't need this. Alright, yeah, I don't know why this thing's type in import list. I don't recall doing this. I don't know why they appear there. Okay, so let's create so this view is a little bit different than what we have been doing. It's more it's almost the same but not quite the same as the new listing. So you can just copy paste, but I'm gonna type it here so that I can explain what's going on. So for this one, it takes 2 arguments again, because we want to again see which listing we're editing. And then we create a variable which is going to be called listing, and that variable is going to hold the data to that particular listing that we're passing with the ID here. So once again, we're using these queries. We get, so which listing we want the one with the ID of that edit.id has, with the number that edit.id has. So once we do that, so again, listings, no listing. So once we do that, we want to render the form. And remember that the last time that we did it, it was like this. So we'll just follow a simple process. However, for the new listing page, we're rendering an empty form. For this part, we want the form already filled with the information of that particular listing. So how do we do that? So we'll just follow the same process that we followed for a few things change. I'll show you. So again, if it's not a post request, just render the form. So we did this again in the new listing page, if you want to go back and check that one. And then so this is where things change a bit. In this case, we're gonna have the data of this listing already displayed in the form by doing this instance equal to the listing. And again, listing has the particular data that we want here. So it's gonna display the form with the data already. And then once again, if users want to submit, we have to do the whole process here with the it's a post request. We're submitting files because it still has images, and then we'll add the instance as well to this part. So bear with me here. We're also submitting the instance equal to the listing, because remember, we already had data. We're just editing the data, so we just have to submit whatever we're editing. So whatever data was edited, and then the rest is similar to the new listing form. So check if the form is valid, and if it is, just save it. So return redirect form. Again, I keep making this mistake here. it's form that is valid. So once you save the form, once again you would just send them to, in this case we'll send them to the my listings page. And then, well, this is similar to what we have been doing here. So if we want to use the data of the that we have in listing, in the variable listing, we have to pass that as well. So we're gonna pass that, and then we'll pass the form as well, just like we did before in the new listing page. As you can see here, we did that with the form here. But here we didn't have any variables, that's why we didn't pass any variables. In this case we have the listing variable, that's why we're passing that one. Turn render. Request. Okay, let me just add some spacing here. And there we go. So let me just explain this again. So we have the edit listing, right? We pass 2 arguments and we need the ID, right? So we create a variable called listing, which is gonna hold the data of that particular listing that we're passing here. So if it's listing 1, so if the ID is 1, then the particular information for listing 1 is being held here in listing. It's stored in listing. Then we have to render the form. It won't be empty this time because we're editing a listing. So instance equal to listing is gonna have the form will have the information that we have in the listing variable. After that, when we want to submit, we have to follow the same process that we did for the new listing form, and we have to include whatever we edited, so the data that we had in the form. And then we just check if the form is valid, we save, and then we redirect the users to my listings. We pass the variable and the form and to the template so that we can start so that we can use that in the template. So there's an explanation here of what I just said. You can read that as well if you want to. So let's go to a template. So let's create a new template. New listing.html. Edit listing.html. Alright, and for this one, again, I'll just copy paste what we have just to save time. And once again, for this one, there is not much to explain. So the action, the URL that we have, we're adding the URL here, passing the ID of that particular listing. It's a post request, and we need these because we're passing images as well, or submitting images rather. I already explained this before. And then we just this is just a button saying edit listing. Alrighty, so before we run the server, we will open my listings.html, and we'll activate the button to edit listings. So we already have all this. We're just making the change here, which is we're just activating the editing button. So let's do that. So I'll just copy paste this and then change it a bit. Edit listing. Oh, this was fine. Listing ID. Okay, so we have activated the edit button as well, and now we can so again, activated the edit button by adding the path, and now we can go to, so now we can just save all the changes that we've made, and let's try it. So let's run the server. Let's go to my listings, and let's say that you want to edit this one, which is that one. And as you can see, you have the images here, so you can change the images if you want to. You can add a new image. You can change all the information here. So let's say that this is a 700. Let's say that's used Let's change the price as well. You can change anything really, and then once you submit, you see the changes take place here. See, let's say that you want to view it, see how it changed. Now it's used. The price also changed. So now we can view it, we can edit it, and now for the next chapter, I think we'll delete the listing. I'll give the option to delete the listing. That's the quiz there. The challenge. And that's the answer sheet. And yes, for the next chapter, we'll just create the delete listing page and activate this button. Alright, so that's all for this chapter. Thank you.